Greetings, parents of Shelton Public School. This tutorial will take you through the steps of filling out the forms in PowerSchool. Begin by logging into the student and parent sign-in portal with your username and password. Once you are signed into PowerSchool, you will see a variety of different things. The general page that comes up are the grades and attendance. And this will not show any information because I have a student that is just a practice student here. And so I'm going to talk through just each of these different settings for you. So we have Swift Reach or Swift K-12, and this is our school notification system. And so here is where you would have any information or alerts that have been sent out, whether they are through text message, email, or by phone call. And then also too, anything that was emailed out would also be back here with documents and files. You can change your alert preferences up here, and you can add in an email address, and you can change the preferences or the alerts for that. And so you get what alerts you would like to get. So general information students. Maybe you want to know if their grade drops below a certain grade, lunch balance, a teacher message, if there's an emergency, if there's any fees that they owe for, or attendance. You can set that up that you would get emails for any of those, and then make sure you save after you set that. If your information is wrong, you can click here to edit and make sure that you have whichever is your preferred contact point, and you can edit in here the information that you need, and then once again save it. To receive text messages, make sure that when you add a new field that you say if it's a landline or a mobile, and then if it's your daytime, home, mobile, or work, and then enter in the field enter in your phone number here, and then also be sure to click save. And once again, you can set your alert preferences for that. If you wish not to receive contact information at any of those, then you can click on here for delete. So that is the information for our Swift K-12 alert preferences on that. And you can only edit your contact information for this. You cannot edit the contact information for a spouse or significant other. They would need to have their own account to go in and edit this information. Next on the list here in PowerSchool are grades and attendance. You can click on that to see the grades, grade history, attendance history, email notifications. And this is how would you like to receive notifications through email. Summary of current grades and attendance, detailed reports showing assignment scores, school announcements, balance alert when they're low on funds, and then which email address you would like to have that go to. And then how often would you like to receive these automated notifications? Weekly, never, every 2 weeks, daily, monthly. And I know this doesn't quite make sense, but up here I have delete. That is the name of the student that I have set up here. And if you have more than one student, their names would be up here, and you could click back and forth to each of those students. And so if you have more than one student, you can click on here to apply those settings to all of your students. So you don't have to go to each student to change that. Teacher comments. If you would like to know if the teacher has a comment on any of the grades or attendance, you can click here to see that. The school bulletin. And this was for elementary. There wasn't anything there, but you can look at dates for bulletin items. Class registrations. Balance will show a lunch count balance. However, you cannot pay from this, and that you will need to do on the school website through eFunds. You can see the student's schedule. And this one, because the student is not enrolled in any classes, you will not see the enrollment there, but you should see an enrollment for your student. School information and account preferences are available there. And you can select a language. Right now this is currently in English, and that is the only choice you have on that. However, this is getting to the main point of this video, and that is forms. This is where you need to fill out the back to school forms. There are 2 health forms. One is this health form, gives information to the school nurse about current medications, allergies, and so forth. This health authorizations form is that if we would need to contact a doctor, we would have that permission to do it. And so each of these forms, you would click on it, and you would go through and answer the questions. Now in this help form, if you answer no, it's still going to ask you to please explain. It's not going to allow you to submit that because this question is required. So just put N, A, or no in any of these. And then when you are all done filling that out, you would either submit, or if you need to take a break or stop, save for later. And this is giving me a warning that all of those things are not done. So I'm going to save this for later. And it just telling me that it's not been submitted and that I would need to submit the form fully. And Title I parent contact or contract. This would be just for elementary students that you would need to fill this out and sign it. You just need to read through it and then type in your signature there. Other forms that you would need to fill out: demographics and student address. Please look at this form and make sure that this information right here, that the student name, date of birth, and the gender is correct. If it is, mark this that it is correct. If a correction needs to be made, please mark that. And then please contact the school so we can get that information updated. Also fill out the ethnicity and race, the language that was spoken at home, a home phone number, email, communications, your physical address, and your mailing address. Free and reduced price meals. This only needs to be done once per family. And if you are direct certified, you do not need to fill this out. But you can go ahead and fill out this information. And one reminder, it's just one per family. You do not need to do it for each of your children. Health authorizations that you would fill out. And once again, this is consent to emergency treatment, consent to share medical information, and then medical contacts, and consent to counseling to meet with our school counselor. Permissions and agreements. This here is that you do give the school permission to use any photographs, videos, that you give that information, and then also any information for walking field trips. Shelton policies and acknowledgements. These are links to our different handbooks. Please take a moment to read through those that apply to you, and then click that you acknowledge the receipt of those. The drug-free policy, that you acknowledge that, and then our K1-to-1 Chromebook insurance policy. Hopefully here soon we'll have Chromebooks for all K-12 students, and that you acknowledge that you would be responsible for damages according to the policy, and that you would consent to a use of electronic signatures. Student contacts. This is probably the most important one that you get filled out right away. Well, actually all of these are important, but these are going to be the contacts, emergency contacts for all parents, guardians of the student. And then also please make sure if your student has a cell phone number that you include them, and that you include their number with that, and then also their school email address. So to add a contact, you would click over here on add, and you would type in their first name, gender, so you do first, last, the relationship, maybe this might be an aunt, employer, you can type in an address. Oh, you have to click on add for that, I apologize. So the address, and this would be their home address. I'm just putting in the school's address for this. The country and the state. And then add a phone number that they could be contacted at, and make sure you put which type of phone number it might be. And if that is the preferred contact, you can also add additional numbers here. And then also too, if you would like to add an email address, definitely parents or guardians, please do add your email address. And then once again for students, do go ahead and include your student as a contact. They would not necessarily be the emergency contact, but do add that you, do add them as a contact. And then mark whether they're an emergency contact, lives with, if it's a parent, or which parent that they live with. And it looks like here we need to fix some things on here, but you should also be able to mark custody, school pickup, or receives mail. And then you would click save. Yep. I am going to delete that. Okay, click save, and then now that is set up there, and then you would click submit on that. This one does need approval, so you may get information that says that it needs approval for there. So it's pending approval, that's okay. If there is something that we're missing some information, we may say, no, please add this information and send it back to you. And then transportation and student driving. And I think this should be our last form. How will your student be coming to and from school? Will they be walking, riding the bus, right in the morning or in the afternoon, riding with someone? So you can mark as many of these as you need, because sometimes they may be doing different things. If they are driving themselves and you mark that, then please fill out this information here about the student driver. And then driving authorizations for seniors only. Do they have the permission to leave for senior lunch dismissal or the work study program? And I believe that should have covered us through all of the different forms. If at any time you have any questions, please feel free to contact the school. Either Mrs. Bermude or Mrs. Pope can assist you with questions.